Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Pratin and you're watching Generation 3D. Before we go any further, just watch this. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I 3D printed this model from this image. Let's get started guys. Hey guys, welcome back. I just wanted to let you know that I'm not a magician in any capacity, but still I wanted to pull out the trick anyways. But as a matter of fact, I really love 3D printing and intend to share my work with you all. And if you ask experientially, 3D printing is quite magical in its own way. Coming back to today's objective, on my commute towards New York, I crossed this bridge quite a few times and found this amazing sculpture sitting right at the top. With 3D printing, I always wanted to adapt it. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I accomplished it. I googled that bridge location to search the sculpture and found a really nice close-up shot by Looking for Adventure website. A huge shout out to Howie from lookingforadventure.com as he shared this original picture with me. Thank you so much, man. So here we just want the sculpture part and we'll crop out everything else. Now if you see closely, there are many organic shapes and nice curves going on in the sculpture. So based on that, we're going to make the design in 3 stages. One, Fusion 360, then we're going to introduce another software, Mesh Mixer, then the slicing. So let's get on with it guys. This software is available for free for students and makers. So to start with, we'll save the file as Eagle Wings and do a quick setup check. Units as millimeter and default modeling orientation as Z up. Now we'll make a box that will decide the height and the width of the model. So let's do it as 70 by 40. So we'll place the box right in the middle so that we can hit the symmetry properly. Now we'll drag that image in our environment and place it right within the box. Now we'll switch to the perpendicular plane and this will decide the wingspan. Let's do it as 25, height remains the same. We'll place only one wing within the frame. Now we'll switch to sculpt modeling. This will help us to make those organic shapes for our base profile. And with that, we're going to place some planes that will help us throughout the modeling process. So here comes the fun part. We'll pick the quadrant and start the sketch. We're going to use a very nice tool that is called spline, with which we're going to create those curvy lines. Since we don't have the top image or the top footage, so we can take some greater liberty for the wings. Now the base sketch has been completed. We have to create another sketch right at the top. So we'll create a offset plane 80 mm above and we intend to copy the base sketch over there. So for that, we'll hit P as a shortcut for our project. And there you go. We can just select and the sketch got copied. Now that the top and bottom sketch is completed, we'll select the middle plane right there to create a guideline so that it will define the flow of the wing. We just have to make sure that guideline should just pass through the middle of the top and end profiles. Again, we are going to use the spline tool to make that curve defined properly. We'll use a loft feature with which we are going to make the base profile. So we'll select top and bottom sketches and use the guide tab as the center line. Bam, there you go. We got the basic shape of the wing that we want. Now we will use a main feature of sculpt, wherein we can select the faces, edges and the vertices and make or modify the way we want. This will give us that organic shape that we were looking for. But if you look closely, this is just a thin wall. So we have to make it a closed body. For that, we have to go to modify, select the holes of top and bottom and we can fill it. Once that's done, we can make little more updates on the body. But this is just a hollow body. We have to convert it into a solid one. Then only we can go ahead and 3D print it. For that, we'll switch to model mode and we'll go to convert under modify tab and select the body. T-splines to period of conversion will happen after that. There you go. This operation creates a new component. Let's name it as wings and the basic shape is ready. Will enable capturing design history, and from this point onwards we cannot just go back and make more updates to that sculpt body. So we have to be very sure that our body is final. So now that's done, we will just switch on the canvas and switch off that particular body and start tracing the edges outer profile of the sculpture. We are using the same spline tool again, and with steady hands we will just go ahead and trace out all the outlines. As you approach to complete the tracing, you have to join the starting point and hit enter to release the control points. Of course, you can modify it later. Once that's done, create a box around it, hit E for extrude cut, and there you go. You can see the edges of feathers is finally appearing. Now we have to do a mirror image of this wing that we have just created. For that, we will make some planes, some offset planes, make some angle adjustments. With the desired angle, we can just hit the mirror copy. Once you're satisfied with the mid plane, you can create the mirror image and the structure is ready. Next, we're going to make a holder that will keep these two wings attached to each other firmly. Also, we'll keep this in mind that this particular object would be used in some other object in your future. So we'll design a peg right at the bottom, strong enough so that it can go inside to another object. We'll define the peg size at the bottom, throw in some fillets, make some final adjustments to the holder, and then combine that holder with the wings so that it makes a single object. Once that's complete, we have come to the end of the basic profile of the wings. So we can save the body as an STL and move on to the next step. Now this is the most fun part of the entire designing process, that is Mesh Mixer. This is another utility by Autodesk which is completely free, and it's got a host of different features with which your models can look crazy beautiful. So we have just imported the model, put it on the bed. Now we are going to do a plain cut of the model. The reason being, I have seen it before, the models get distorted a little when you do the sculpt modeling on this. For that, we'll secure the bottom model because that's the peg that might be used in any other objects as I mentioned before. So we'll make that particular part invisible and start working with the top part. Same thing goes, we'll work only on one wing and mirror image it again. So we've got different brushes under sculpt mode, and the first thing that we are going to do is reduce. The sharp edges that was done using the extrude cut in Fusion 360 needs to go now. So we want to make it a little soften up so that our designs look perfect on the body. So before we go any further, we'll try and do a pencil sketch from the photograph. That will help us to go ahead with the sketching on the model. Now, to be honest, I'm not at all good at sketching, but I needed something to work with for the model going forward. And with this, we can switch back to Mesh Mixer. So let's make the beautiful feathers now. So go to brushes, pick the draw tool, or select the size that we want, and now we can take the clue from the pencil sketch that we have just done, and slowly with steady hands we will do the feathers. You can anytime do a Ctrl Z, or if you're on a Mac you can do Command Z to delete your work and do it all over again. And hey, I just want to share something that I'm feeling right now while designing this model. It is so difficult to emulate God's creation. However hard we try, we can't even get closer to it. But on the other hand, due to pollution and global warming, so many species on our planet are in danger today. I earnestly request you to reduce the use of plastic and be aware to take good care of your surroundings. So once you complete drawing all the feathers, you can take even smaller brush and run through all the lines. That will make those lines look sharper. And after that, you can switch to the reduce brush and just draw all the middle spaces, so that will make those harsh lines blend in properly with the body. So now the front side is done, it's time to do some textures at the back. Same way, take the draw tool and make the initial lines, accentuate it with a smaller size brush. And do the same thing on the holder as well. Once that's done, now we are going to do the mirror copy and get the entire design to the other wing as well. Make the other part visible. Now we can see it is distorted a little. So we have to adjust and place it right in the middle. There you go. Combine those two models and make it into one. So just save it in STL and stage 2 is complete. Now we'll switch to Simplify 3D and get our slicing started. Import the model, adjust the orientation on the print bed, set up all the parameters. The choice of filament is PLA. We can set up the infill, we can create the supports, adjust the temperature, maybe print speed as well. So once that's done, we have to create the support material, because you can see there are extreme overhangs right at the back of the wing. So you can adjust, reduce number of pillars, and now you're all set for the print. Hit prepare to print, and there you can see it will take 1 hour 54 minutes to complete the print. Enjoy the time lapse in my Flash Forge dual extruder printer. Doesn't it look amazing? Really satisfying to see when your creation takes shape. Now let's get the prints out of the bed. Let's look the way things are coming out. It just came out like butter. You see, support materials are so helpful for 3D printing. I simply love it. I've printed this with monoprice white PLA, and every time I got consistent results with this filament. I'm using Rust-Oleum's flat white primer. I'll do 2 coats on it to make it ready for painting. Waited 6 to 7 hours to get it dried, and then I painted it with Rust-Oleum's mirror finish and a golden paint.
I had quite a bit of a learning experience from this project using Fusion 360 and playing a little bit with Mesh Mixer. One last thing I wanted to show you. You remember I created a small housing right at the bottom of the model. I include a neodymium magnet under this, and this bad boy is really strong. Do you hear that? I designed a small base just like this and placed one magnet right at the bottom. This allowed me to place the sculpture just like this. To be honest, this thing came out much better than I expected, and it now looks very close to the finish. If you have any idea how to use this model in any other way, please do write to me in the comment section below. It would be really interesting. If you like this video, please do subscribe to my channel, share it with your family and friends, and more fun stuff coming your way. Until next time, be kind to each other, and more power to you chasing your dreams. Have an awesome day.